So welcome everybody for the latest session of the day. So this slide you have seen it several times. Let's start by the presentation. So my name is Frédéric Descamps. I am from Belgium. I am on Twitter. I'm hacking MySQL for a long time, and I will be at the community dinner tonight. So if you have any question, even DevOps question, whatever you want, whatever MySQL related question, it will be a pleasure for me to answer that. I will go speed up at the beginning because it's a very short talk, right? So, but with a lot of content. A new tool, MySQL Shell. So MySQL Shell, it's a new interactive tool that we have made to replace the MySQL client, the usual MySQL client. It can run in JavaScript, in Python, or even in SQL. And it can use, so it can be completely interactive, or you can use it in a script. It allows you to do a configuration management system, use it to deploy MySQL on scale, or using Ansible, Puppet, all that kind of stuff. It's very cool. It has a lot of features, and we are implementing also utilities in it, like checking, for the people who were yesterday at the tutorial, we could check if a 5.7 can be upgraded to 8. So there is a util upgrade checker in it. You can use it to load JSON files in your document store, for example, with the util object too. You can use it for doing CRUD operations. So you can use it to do a lot of stuff here. So interactive batch operation, document relational models. You can do all that CRUD operations also. So if you want to use MySQL without any code or any SQL statement, it's possible. We will not cover this during the conference, but if you're interested on that, we can just come to me or to Dave in the back to discuss that. And it allows you to do JSON output or the normal usual output that everybody knows. It allows you to use MySQL standard protocol, so 3306, the one we all know usually, but also the X protocol that allows you to do asynchronous call to MySQL, that allows you to do CRUD operation to MySQL, and much more. So this is about what's the shell. But I wanted to show you, to go more even. So for the people who never know shell, they will say, oh, this is crazy, because it will be a lot of information. For people who are using the shell, they say, oh, we know that it's cool. So Fred says we can go even better or even further. Yes, we can. And this is what I want to show you. So for example, in the shell, I just told you, okay, it supports JavaScript, it supports Python, it supports SQL. And the first mode, when you don't specify anything, it is JavaScript. So you can put JavaScript statement there and interact directly in JavaScript with your SQL server. You can switch to Python. And for example, this is what I'm doing here. So I am in Python now. And you can see I can just write Python code in my shell and load modules that are on my system, so the system where the shell runs. So it can be run on your laptop, and you can operate a server far away, remotely, or in the cloud, or whatever. And you can see it's just doing Python. All Python, so Python 2.6, 2.7, 3 are supported here. So you can, of course, it's any type of module. So this, like date time, which is an embedded normal Python modules, but also a module that is not default in Python. For example, here I'm using ESBN tool, right, module. So I'm importing it. This meta function comes from this ESBN tool app module, and I give a ESBN, and what happens here? In the background, it goes to the internet and say, give me the data from this ISBN and return me an object of it. So here we have this very good book from Dave Stokes. So if you have a copy of these books and you want to be signed, Dave is just in the back of the room. And it will be also at the community dinner and is around again tomorrow. So here it means that we are able to use modules that are on the system to interact and to do everything. For example, here, if I was using document store, I could just store this document directly in MySQL from the shell, right? So it's cool, but we want even more. You will see I'm a very pushy guy. I want always more and more stuff. And so here we're going to extend the shell. And this is what we're going to discuss today or this evening together. So first thing, since 8.0.16, so this version is very old, 2 weeks. So you have two different ways to extend the shell. The first one is using the new reporting framework. Who has heard about the reporting framework? 2 people? We did that yesterday at the tutorial too, right?
Only yesterday.
Yes, only yesterday. Or you can also create your own modules to extend the shell. So here, for example, we're going to create a report. That this report, when you create a report, you can call it by show. So you call, it's a one-time call, or you can call it by watch, and that will be constantly refreshed. So you will see the result that goes constantly refreshed, and you can monitor stuff with that, for example. So for example here, I just created, so people at the tutorial remember this progress recovery report we did yesterday, but I create a new one, it's log info, and if I do show log info, this is the information I got from the shell. And you can write whatever you want. You can write the report you want to show, to have some queries that you often do, right? So, and to watch them live if you want. This is very handy to do. So here we do that. So it's just, you can write this report in Python or in JavaScript. You have to install them in your home directory MySQL sh init.d, so on the client where you are using the shell. And this is, for example, what contains a report. So you have the definition of the function that you want to do, so, and you do select, blah, 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 whatever you want, all the joins you want, and it will return something. And then you have to register the report to the shell, and you will be able to use it like that. So it's very handy. And so you have been able to automate operation queries that you have to do all the time, and which is show it's nice, but watch is even better because then you can see the result every second updated. So if you want more information about this user-defined reports, I have wrote some blog posts on that, so where you can find how to write them and how it works. And also the source code of the example I give and other ones are in my GitHub repository here. I've created already several useful reports. And if you know some very useful reports that you are using and you say, oh, this would be nice to have, pull request welcome. No worries. So share your reports with the community. We enjoy that. So this was the first step, how to extend the shell. But there is a second step. It's to create your own modules. So you could create a report. So that is just query and then the result of the query. But you can create even more than only queries by creating your own modules. So you can, like for the report, to make long statements that you don't want to repeat or you don't remember the syntax. Or, for example, to replace some missing functionalities that maybe you were able to do something in 5.7 and it doesn't work anymore in 8.0 because we have changed it because of the data dictionary, for example, and stuff like that. And this is what I will show you here. So recently, I had somebody that asked me, okay, with the new data dictionary, it was not possible to delete all the routines for a specific schema, because before these routines are in a table, and I could delete them, even if it was not the best way to do, but it was possible. Now it is not possible, because all these routines are in the data dictionary, and you can delete one by one. So Jasper explained, so Jasper is one of our support experts, or you could do that kind of stuff here, making some say, oh, you can find that, and how you can create functions. And so I extended the shell by creating my own Python plugin to do that. So I call it MyDBA. MyDBA is the name of the modules I wanted. This is the method I create, get procedures from sys and all the function from the sys schema. And this is, for example, all the function from the sys schema that are returned. So here, again, I connect to the shell. I say, oh, give me all the procedures for test. And he says, OK, there is one procedure called hello test. And I can say, OK, delete all the procedures from the test database. And if there are many or only one, it will delete them. So it's much easier. You can configure, or you can create all that from the shell. So all operations that are complicated and that you want to automate or that you want to have an easy access, you can extend the shell to do that. And the shell, of course, it's in Python in this case, you can integrate stuff with it. So it's very cool. For example, you know that in MySQL 8, we have added some expiration to your password. We have extended the security. But it's quite complicated to know, oh, when does my password expire? It's a lot of select, joins, and stuff to find that. So, for example, here I say I created a new method for my DBA modules that say get password expiration. And for the users, I know when the password last has been changed and when it will be expired, or if it has been expired already. And if I say, OK, if it's expired, I don't want to see them, you can add attributes, arguments, parameters, whatever you want. So we, again, extend the shell. Another example, for example, fragmented InnoDB tables. Do I have fragmented InnoDB tables? Yes, you have, maybe. And this is how you do that. I say, my DBA get fragmented tables, and I can find the result of these. So with very simple, let's say, modules and method, and all these are, you can, with tab completion, so you just do mydba.tab, and it will give you all the list of your method, for example. So it's very handy for the DBA, and it's very, very handy for if you are an expert DBA and you want to train your, let's say, junior DBA, and you don't want them to make mistakes or something like that, and say, OK, if you need to do some operation in the middle of the night, run these procedures, it will find the issue, and it will fix the issue. You can do all that kind of stuff much easier and much safer for you. This one was much nicer to do also. So some people in the forum MySQL ask us, OK, how can I know what are the defaults? Know that we have also expressions as a default. We can make an expression. But what is the default then? Or give me an example of what could be the default. So this is not possible in a store procedure to do that. So in Python, I wrote Python to do this. And for example, here I said, OK, get defaults for the table default test in the test schema. And it goes there and says, oh, this is the name of the column. This is the type of the column. These are the default value set in the definition of the table. But this stuff, what does that mean? Or this stuff, what does that mean? So, and this is an example of what it could be at this time, for example. So very useful also to know what are the defaults for your table. So when there is something it's complicated to do, you can extend and create modules for that. So if you want to contribute to this DBA toolkit that I've created, also on GitHub, pull request welcome. But like I said, we want more, right? So yes, we can even do more stuff, more fun stuff. So for example, you know, Baron was here at the conference today, and he made a very nice tool, Innotop, that now it's maintained by Kenny and myself. And yeah, but Innotop is very complicated to maintain. And I heard a lot of time, oh, Innotop is dead, nobody used that. So I started a poll on Twitter. I said, are you using Innotop? And you can see, when I see this result, I don't think Innotop is dead, right? But Innotop is not dead, but it's very complex to maintain. Why? Because it's written in Perl. Who likes to write Perls these days? There are some. You like. Booking guys, not here, but they like. I do like a bit, but less and less. Maybe this is the reason why we have less and less contribution also in Innotop. So what the MySQL shell can help here, yes, of course, because the shell, it's in Python. Python is cool. Everybody loves Python. I was in PyCon Italy last week, and 700 people when we talk about Python in a room. So that's very cool. So this, in the shell, you can have something that looks like Innotop. So I extended the shell to have Innotop in the shell. So if you want, let me see if I can see that live. Right, so you have Innotop running, and this is how it works, and you see all the queries running on the data that you are connected, and you can extend it, of course. I have created the quit and the details. So this is the details of one query. You type D, and you have the details of the query. You do K, and you will be able to kill a query. So Innotop is cool, but Innotop in the shell, it's even more cool, right? It's cooler. So yes, it is possible to do this by just calling here Innotop session process list, and I have everything in the shell. So I think this is very, very nice stuff to do. At least as a DBA, I really like the possibility to do that. So how to use this? The model is also in GitHub. Everything is on GitHub. It's cool. GitHub is cool. And this is how you run it. You say, OK, MySQL Shell. I want to connect in Python. I import some modules where it is, and I run Innotop session process list. This is quite boring to do every time, so you can add that in your MySQL SH RC. Import this, where your module is located on your laptop, for example, and import Innotop by default. So you add this in your MySQL Shell RC.py, and every time you go in Python, you can call Innotop session process list run, and you have Innotop. It's cool, but we have limitations, of course. Limitation is this require n curses. So what does that mean? It will work mostly only on Linux, right? So yeah, but I'm a Linux user, so I don't think it's a limitation for me, but I understand that for some people, this might be a limitation. For the report we did earlier that I show you, there is no limitation like this. Or it's native. This is not native. Maybe it will come. Let's see. So, but I want more, and this time I want from you. You can contribute to these extensions to Innotop, and this is how you can write. So this is how it looks like. So you have these modules, right? And this is how it looks like. So we have all the PI information, so command, for example, and we have session process list, thread info when you do details. It's just some Python code. And every extension starts the same way. It is mandatory to use it like that. This is just the extension to be able to go to extend Innotop in the shell, right? And then you need to say, okay, if you want to have some keys, like the D to have a detail of a function, of a statement, or the K to kill a session, these are the shortcuts. So if you want to create shortcuts, you just do it like this. So in your module, you define what the shortcut and what function should the shortcut do. So return is the name of the module, so it will return dummy, and it will call here, if you have dummy.py, it will call it. And here, if you want to have the same screen where the function is running, or if you want a new screen for it. And then this is how the extension works. So this is standard for all functions. This is standard for all functions, and your code is just here. So there you put all the Python code you want, and you will see everything there, right? So it's very cool. So we need you in the way of, if you have ideas, if you are a Python expert and you want to write some very cool stuff, just do it, send me pull request. It will be a pleasure to insert everything there. So, and last thing, if you like what MySQL team is doing, share your love to MySQL on the social media. This is one one way to reward our work in the community work we do. So please do. And do you have questions? Before, I have one question before I ask you. Who think this is very cool? Okay, I'm happy then. There is one question there, and then, okay, for the cool. Yes?
It works only 8 and above?
So, no, it doesn't work. The shell, you need to use anything you do. Let's say you are using MySQL 5.7, MySQL 8, always use the latest shell. Shell is just a program that you have on your laptop. So always use the latest shell, but then you can do that with any MySQL. Same for the router. For people who use the router, if you use, let's say, InnoDB cluster 5.7, use router 8.0.16 for the moment because it's the latest. So for these two, let's say, middleware or client tools, always use the latest ones. But they run also with the previous version because the shell can use X protocol, which is default in 8.0, which you have to enable in 5.7, which doesn't exist in 5.6. But it also uses the classic protocol. So it's just a MySQL connection, right? So you can do that too. Other question? Yes?
Just for clarification, pretty sure the answer to this. The dependency on N-curses is specific to Innotop?
Yes, just for the Innotop module. The other one, not at all. The other one are no dependencies. You can run them on Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever you want. It's just for the Innotop, for the cool stuff running in live that needs N-curses because it's an N-curses screen inside of the shell. Other question? So thank you very much. See you tomorrow or tonight on the boat. Enjoy the community dinner and see you later. Thank you.